Hello, everyone. Counterspell Hater here, back with another EDH request made by one of my commenters. But before we get into today's request, I'd like it if you guys please like and subscribe. Thank you to the 43 of you who are currently subscribed and supporting me right now and have been supporting me maybe even from the start for some of you. But if you want to be one of those people, it's never too late and it never will be. So this is like not a limited time event, so you can subscribe and like on my videos. And as you're viewing my videos, please comment. And if you want to make an EDH request like this one and have it fulfilled on my channel, then all you have to do is be first to comment on this video or on one of my videos that has not been commented on yet by anyone. And I will get to it. I'll try and sort it out. Even if you wanted a style for the commander, so like Ramos Changeling, you know, for example, or like Kelith Sun Main Familiar and or like another Award Wing Familiar from Commander Legends. I don't know its first name, but yeah, Voltron. Sorry, I'm getting off track here, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss another one of my videos. And please comment anyways, even if you aren't the first. I like feedback from you guys. So by all means, feedback, please. Shows me that you care about this channel. So show your support through that. Share this video along with other videos found on my channel with other people. With that said, let's get into this request. So today we're actually looking at one of my starting / favorite commanders, Prime Speaker Vanifar. I have had this card for a long time at my house. One of the first cards I got, and it was like an amazing card. It was pretty broken commander. I mean, it still is a broken card today. Like you've probably seen it in some of the combos. But yeah. So this is kind of a food chain sort of deck / birthing pod. We don't talk about birthing pod. But anyways, let's get into it. So first we have Lotus Cryptozoologist, who using the clues she or it or he creates, we can find more broken things or most of all more creatures for us to sacrifice that aren't ours if we want to keep our stuff around and maybe get rid of our opponent's resources. So this is a very good card, and this deck would definitely recommend. Akroma's Memorial, just, you know, buff up our team with all these keyword abilities. And then there's Intruder Alarm. If we get this, we're essentially winning on the spot, because we'll be able to get like our super big creatures. And if we have Akroma's Memorial, I mean haste, flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, and protection from black and from red. Yeah, someone's probably dead. So first we have like a couple of food chains. So we have Pelt Collector, more of a synergy. This can get buffed up, but we can sacrifice it to get Corridor Monitor. So like say our command, so we play this, and then on turn 4 we play our commander. Then turn 5 comes, we have Pelt Collector out, and we haven't found Corridor Monitor. So we would sacrifice Pelt Collector, get Corridor Monitor, and then it would untap our commander. So then we could sacrifice Corridor Monitor to get Hyrax Tower Scout, and then that would enter the battlefield, untap Vanifar. So then we could sacrifice Hyrax Tower Scout to get Fate Stitcher, and if it has haste, then we'll be able to untap Vanifar again by tapping Fate Stitcher, and then we'll sacrifice Fate Stitcher to get Cavalier of Gales, and then we can, since we have, presuming we have used no mana yet, we can then use Unearth on Fate Stitcher, bring it back, and then use it to untap. Use it to untap Vanifar once again, and then sacrifice Cavalier of Gales, which I would definitely recommend Cavalier of Gales, because if you don't want something in your hand, like you want to like cheat something out, but you have it in your hand, like with Vanifar, Cavalier of Gales is great because you can put something back into your library from your hand when you draw 3 cards. And then when it dies, it shuffles itself back into its owner's library. So then you can scry 2 and put 2 more things to the bottom that you don't want to draw on your next turn. But Cavalier of Gales, so we sacrifice that, and then we've got Vigor already, like 2 turns ahead, which is crazy. Like we've went from a 1/1 to a 6/6 elemental incarnation that makes it really hard for our opponents to kill our stuff with like damage and stuff. Feasting Troll King. So after we sacrifice Vigor, it'll also shuffle itself into our library. So we have Feasting. So we play Feasting Troll King from our hand, right? Well, I guess not from our hand. But if we do end up playing it from our hand, then we'll get 3 food tokens, which we can then use to return this thing from our graveyard to the battlefield under our control during our turn only. So then we could use our commander again to sacrifice this and get another 7 CMC spell, which I kind of realized I screwed up. That this is not 7 CMC, but oh well, we all make mistakes. I guess this is just an alternative. But we can then sacrifice one of those, I guess, to get Cultivator Colossus and get way ahead in lands. And this could just end up killing someone if it has haste. And you could just potentially draw your hold, like play out all your lands. And then we could sacrifice that to get Woodfall Primus, which is amazing because of Persist and because it can get rid of something in its trample. And we can kill that off. And when we do, Persist will trigger. But then we will fetch Phyrexian Triniform, which is also very insane because of Encore, meaning that we will create some tokens of it that we can then sacrifice to get another 10 CMC creature, like Ancient Stone Idol, which I would also recommend because this is a hardcore counter to like mono white players or like green white army players, people who like to go wide or in a turn have recently gone wide on their board state, because this could end up being free depending on how many creatures your opponents are attacking with, or you may be attacking with, who knows. And when this dies, it leaves a token behind. And because that token has like technically has a converted mana cost of 0, you'll be able to use it to get 1-drops and start your food chain. But then you sacrifice this to Vanifar to get Worldspine Worm, which when it dies, it shuffles itself back into its owner's library, which is still crazy. And it also leaves something behind. And it's a 15/15 with trample. And then you sacrifice that to get Blightsteel Colossus, which when it's sacrificed or is put into a graveyard from anywhere, it is revealed and then shuffled into its owner's library. So if this happens to die, then, or we sacrifice it, which we aren't going to, because the only like 13 CMC creature card that I know of is Emrakul Promised End, and that's not really a good one because we don't have a 14 CMC after that. We do have a 15 CMC, but not a 14. So Blightsteel Colossus is where this food chain stops. And if your opponent has let it get to this point, they're dead. Like very dead. Now we have like kind of a ramp. So if we have like Chroma's Memorial out, it'll give all of our creatures haste. So Birds of Paradise. And we have Prime Speaker Vanifar out. We tap this, we add 1 mana beyond 1 color. And then we sacrifice, and then we also have Intruder Alarm out. So then we tap this for the mana, then we tap Prime Speaker to sacrifice it. Bloom Tender will come in and untap all of our creatures, all creatures, because of Intruder Alarm. Then because of haste, we'll be able to add 2 more mana of any one color. Of green and blue because of our commander being green and blue. Then we'll sacrifice this. So mind you, we'll have 3 mana floating in our mana pool to get Selvala, Heart of the Wild, which can draw us cards, and I would definitely recommend in this deck. And depending on what we have out, could add a lot of mana. It could get us just 2, or it could get us like 15 or something. But the whole point is that you could ramp into like a big creature card, play that card from your hand, meanwhile getting something else like Magus of the Order, which is where you can actually use the mana that you floated from. You can use one of that to pay for Magus of the Order, and then use the other, maybe even a like green creature you played out that you don't want, sacrifice that to like Vigor for whatever reason, play it, and then of course after you've gotten Magus of the Order, it'll have haste, and then use mana you have, the green mana you have left, to sacrifice Magus of the Order and Vigor, say, and then you could go and immediately get Blightsteel Colossus without having to go through the entire process. So in other words, I would recommend this card. Prophet of Krufix is the continuation of this food chain, because it can untap a bunch of stuff, and you can cast creature cards as though they have flash. Definitely would recommend this because of the whole flash part. Because you can only activate Prime Speaker Vanifar on your turn, and because of that, being able to cast creatures on your opponent's turns, and then having Vanifar, like your board state prepared for Vanifar when it comes back to your turn, is very ideal. And you're able to react to instant speed. Kodama of the East Tree would definitely recommend this. This can really break the game you're in, because like you figure you cheat out Blightsteel Colossus, right, from sacrificing Worldspine Worm. Well, you're just getting Worldspine Worm back, thanks to Kodama here. If, of course, if you have it in your hand, which if you do. But this can like really help you cheat stuff out that you want to sacrifice. Then the next stage of that is Giant Adaphage, which definitely would also recommend this because it creates tokens of itself. And because of that, you can get like multiple 8 CMC creatures out of just this card without having to play like other non-token cards from your hand and having to sacrifice them and spend mana. Instead, you just deal a bunch of damage and you get these copies. And then, so like one of them, for example, you get sacrificed to find Vorinclex Voice of Hunger, which at this point, you're immediately shutting everyone down. Like being able to deadlock everyone just on the spot is pretty devastating. And then this also doubles up your mana. Which, by the way, don't really plan on playing ramp in this deck because like you don't really plan on playing creature cards from your hand all that much. The plan is to play like big stuff out of your deck. And then from Vorinclex, we have Apex Altasaur, or like another ATMC, which we can use to sacrifice to find Apex Altasaur, which can end up completely wiping the board. Wall of Ruins. So this is like some sort of utility. We've got food chain we've got going here. So like Wall of Ruins is in here because of Scry. Because say like there's some rather big creature on top of your deck, and you find out because of Scry. Well, obviously you're gonna bond that so you can find that creature later. Hidden Bonder Prodigy, so we can cheat out more non-human. You can cheat out non-human creatures from our deck by activating his activated ability. As long as we have mana for it. And as you know, we'll be doing that we'll be doing that so we can possibly like skip many steps in the food chain. So instead of having to go from like 1 to 2 to 3, we can just go straight to like 10. You get one thing. Eternal Witness, just to get something back. Ramble Sovereign is great because we can create tokens of our non-token creatures when they are in the battlefield, and then we can end up sacrificing them to get like other higher CMC stuff. So like we play like Eternal Witness. So then we pay for Bramble Sovereign's ability. Now we have 2. So first of all, that's 2 ETB effects that return a card from our graveyard to our hand. And then we sacrifice one of them to get another 4 CMC creature, and another to get a different 4 CMC creature. You know what I'm saying? Definitely recommend that as well. Body Double. It's pretty obvious why this is in here. Definitely recommend this as well. And then from that, we have Essence of the Wild, which is crazy. Definitely would recommend this too. Just don't play it before your commander, because then your commander will enter in and says an Essence of the Wild. But you play this, and then suddenly any tokens you're creating or creatures you're playing enter in as a 6 CMC 6/6. And what's good about that is because now you're really able to skip steps. Like you can play like a 1/1, but it's going to enter in as an Essence of the Wild. So instead of just having to go from 1 to 2, you go from like 6 to 7 immediately off of playing a 1-mana creature. So definitely recommend that as well. Sifter Worm, trample 7/7. It's great because of scry, and it can keep you in the game thanks to life gain. Avatar of Might, another hardcore counter to like players who like to go white, or like, you know, like mono white decks, green white. Because in fact, I would just recommend this in general because we're not going to have more than one creature most likely. So being able to have this in our deck, because like you figure someone has like more than 4 creatures than us, right? Well, then suddenly this costs only double green mana, and then we play this, and then you figure we have Vanifar out. So then we play this and we sacrifice it to immediately get maybe not something like Frozen Colossus, but like something really scary, like Apex Altarsaur. Another reason this is in here is because of Morph. Because you play this on turn 3, right? You don't have to worry. And then later, you morph it into Frozen Colossus. So instead of having to sacrifice an 8 CMC creature that you normally sacrifice on turn 8, possibly, you instead sacrifice a 9 CMC while only paying 8 mana. So in that case, you get Jin-Gitaxi's Core Augur, which puts another big dent in our opponent's plans. And then finally, we've got a whole bunch of mutate cards. Because if you don't know how mutate works, so there's an alternate cost that you can pay, and then if you pay that alternate mutate cost, then the creature, you would target a creature you control, and then that creature would gain all the abilities of what creatures mutate onto it. But you also decide whether like what goes on top or bottom. So say you have a 1 CMC creature and then you cast Trumpeting Gnar for mutate. Well, obviously in this deck you want the higher CMC, right? So you mutate Trumpeting Gnar on top of like Kelp Collector or something. And then suddenly you've gone from 1 CMC to 3 CMC if you don't have the option, or if you have not been able to play much. And then now suddenly you're off of a 1 CMC creature, well, it used to be, you're going to 4 CMC. So these are all in here to kind of skip like steps, like Parcels Beast especially. I mean, 2 mana, 4 CMC, Migratory Great Horn. Besides, mutate can get out of hand quick. Sea Dasher Octopus, Gem Razor can destroy stuff. Suspicious Starts, especially. This gets out of hand quick, and this can cheat out even more creatures from your deck, allowing you to quite possibly skip even more sets or get directly to what you want. So definitely put in mutate cards, causing Control Shark to be annoying, Dreamtail Heron, Sawtusk Demolisher to destroy some stuff, Archipelago to have some stuff down, and then we got Breaker of Armies, hardcore counter to white, for mono-white players and green-white players. Fall Forgers, definitely would recommend this because this can help you gain life. Country Spider because of Undergrowth and how it works. I mean, testing it from your hand and then being able to get to cheat out green permanent with converted mana cost extra left among them onto the battlefield. Where X is the number of picture cards in your graveyard. That's pretty good. And then Gold Guard Raiders can be quite possibly a win condition. Then we got Castle Garen Rig to cast like higher CMC creature spells ahead of time, along with Wolfsburg Bridge to cheat out like even more than we already have. Because we're definitely gonna have a creature with full with power 10 or greater alone on our board. And if we don't have like a singular creature with power 10 or greater, we're gonna have like probably combined. And then we got 24 basic forests, 24 basic islands, and with that, the end of this EDH request, starring Prime Speaker Vanifar. Thank you to the commenter who made this request. If you want to be one of those people, please be the first to comment on this video, and I guess any other video that no one has commented on yet. But I'm not going to be doing anything this Friday because, you know, last day of school, which congrats to you guys who are heading out. I'm in your position. Anyways, also, if you want to be one of the people who show their support, like for real, subscribe and like. That's all you have to do. Very simple. Thank you to the 43 of you who are currently subscribed. And you can be one of those people, just like and subscribe. Comment, hit the notification bell, that way you don't miss another one of my videos. And share this video along with other videos found on my channel. With that said, happy summer. And remember, no counter spells whatsoever.